Welcome to Clean Scales Weekly Wisdom. This is a new series that we're starting today and going to try to run this every Friday, or at least record it every Friday, and we'll see when it gets run. What really prompted this is that this is World Alzheimer's Month, and I just thought there were some really important things out there that I needed to share with you. And before I go on, one thing I want to share with you before we talk about Alzheimer's is that we are having a workshop on September 16th in Wichita, one session at 2 o'clock and one session at 2 p.m. and one session at 10 a.m. One session is dealing with how to pay for care, long-term care, and then the other one is what you need to know for the second half of life. And if you're interested in those, call our office at 785-625-8040, and we can give you some more details. The other option is to go on to our webpage, cleanscaleslaw.com/events, and you'll see the sessions that are there and how to register. And also, if you have questions or need to meet with one of our attorneys, again, call 785-625-8040. Again, I'm an elder law attorney, practice in Hayes and Wichita. We have two other partners in our firm, Adam Deese and Jenny Walters. A lot of our practice is devoted to helping families with a chronic illness. And of those cases, about 70+% deal with dementia and Alzheimer's. And a couple of years ago, I was appointed by the governor to serve on the Alzheimer's task force. And we met for about 6 months or so and issued a task force report. And so a lot of the things I'm going to share with you today are from that report. But let me just before I get into those, today, I'm going to give you some background about dementia and Alzheimer's. Next week, I want to talk to you about some caregiver tips. In a later session, I want to talk about what to do if you have a loved one in a nursing home and how to pay for care. Is it too late to do anything? We're going to talk a little bit another session about if you've got an early diagnosis of dementia, what do you need to get done? And then another session, I want to talk to you about the legal documents that I would want you to have in place and some special provisions that I would want you to have in there. So let's talk about some of the information from the task force. And I've made some notes. Right now, or at the time of the report, in Kansas alone, we have 54,000 people with Alzheimer's. And by 2025, which is just 4 years away, that number is going to balloon to 62,000 people. This was a surprise to me. Alzheimer's is the most expensive disease in America. The costs are more than cancer or Parkinson's or any other disease. It costs our economy more, it has more of an impact on our economy than any other disease. Now, I don't know where COVID fits into that. I'm sure that's been a bump, but from a longevity standpoint, Alzheimer's is number one, more than heart disease, any of that. In Kansas alone, the year of my participation on the task force, Kansas spent $441 million in Medicaid dollars helping take care of people that have Alzheimer's. And that number is really minuscule compared to the number of people who are actually getting some type of care. Home care costs are averaging about home care costs run about $50,000 a year. So paying for care in the home, and that's based on a 44-hour week. is about $50,000 a year. Assisted living, if you can find an assisted living that will accept someone that has Alzheimer's, in Kansas, the average cost is $53,000 a year. For a nursing home stay, the cost in Kansas averages about $74,000 a year. Now, I want you to know that number can vary greatly because I have clients that are paying a lot more than that. I have a couple they both have dementia, and they're paying around $20,000 a month in Wichita. So it can really, really vary quite a bit. What we saw in the report was there are several areas of crisis. And one area of crisis is in accessing caregivers. That issue is greatly has greatly expanded since COVID. The support system, the available caregivers that you can hire and so forth has just really disappeared. And so it's much more difficult today than it was even at the time of the report. And at the time of the report, it was really the number one crisis was caregivers availability. And then the second one is caregiver support. So what kind of support system is out there if you're a caregiver? It's interesting to me when I meet with clients and they're a caregiver, they really have their head down and they're really just focused on their loved one that's got dementia, and they don't look out for themselves. And so, one of the things that we do is try to educate them about what kind of support systems are out there and how important it is for their own well-being, as well as the person they're caring for, to tap into those support systems. And so one of the other crises that we saw in the task force was that there's very little public awareness of the statewide support system and how to tie into that support system and then access it in your particular community. And a lot of my practice is in Western Kansas. And so, the support system in Hayes is different than the support system in Victoria or Gove or Oakley. And it can really vary, and it can vary, all the time. I mean, we had a support group in Hayes for many years, and it went away, and now we've finally got it going again, but so that it can really, really change over time. And I want to share this with you. In Kansas, 5% of people with Alzheimer's live in some type of group setting, like a nursing home, assisted living, or independent living. 5%. 63% live with a family member. 2% live with a non-family member. And this is really scary. 29% live alone. 29% live alone. 63% live with a family member. Of the caregivers, 2/3 of caregivers are women. 1 out of 3 caregivers is 65 years of age or older. In the United States, it is estimated that there's $2.17 billion of unpaid caregiver time provided to somebody with Alzheimer's. So that's what we're looking at. And so we're going to talk about how do we work around that? How do we make you a better caregiver? How can we help you preserve resources and the like? And we'll be talking about that over the next few weeks. So again, a reminder that if you need to talk to us, need help, give us a call, 785-625-8040. Or if you want to register for our workshop that's in Wichita on September 16th, how to pay for long-term care, or what you need to know for the second half of life, call that number 785-625-8040, or register at clinkscaleslaw.com/events. Thank you.